Hello students, welcome to the online session of Database Management System. In today's session, we are going to study about transaction concept in Database Management System, ACID properties of transaction, and transaction control language commands. The learning objectives are, after learning this session, students will be able to describe the concept of transaction, students will be able to describe ACID properties, and students will be able to execute transaction control language commands. So first we'll see what is transaction in DBMS. So transaction is a single logical unit of work. It may be a series of instructions, that is queries, or even a single instruction that modify or access data from a database system. See, transaction is what? When we execute number of commands on a database system in order to manipulate data, in order to access data from the table, then those commands or that set of instructions is called as a transaction. Okay, and this transaction is executed on database system by a single user or a application program. Okay, whatever series of instruction, whatever series of queries executed on a database system by a single user or by a single application program, those instructions are called as transaction, and that possibly modify or access data from the database system. So this transaction may include DDL command, DML command, or TCL commands. Okay, and transaction can be either embedded within any application program or written in any high level query language like SQL. If you are working with any front end, if you are working in any high level language like C, C++, Java, Python, or in any other language, and you are using database system as a backend, or you are doing database connectivity in your application program, then you can use these database queries in a high level language program or in your application program as a embedded code, or else you can write a separate transaction, separate set of instruction by using structured query language program. Okay, so that is also transaction. Now here we'll have some examples of transaction, that is transaction in banking system, railway or airlines reservation system, or super shop inventory, or credit or debit card processing. Whatever instructions or whatever processing is done in all these field, in all these systems, are nothing but transaction. Now let's see one example of transaction. Example is transfer amount from one bank account to another bank account. Here we have two bank accounts A and B, and we want to transfer some amount from account A to account B. So first we'll read the balance of account A with read A instruction, for example. Okay, then we'll deduct the required amount or the amount that we want to transfer from that account A. Now suppose here we are deducting rupees 1000 from account A. Then after deduction of 1000 rupees, whatever balance is there, we need to write that amount back to the account A, so that we are updating amount of account A after deduction. Then we'll read the balance of account B. Before transferring amount to account B, first we'll fetch the balance from account B. Okay, then we'll add that amount to account B, that is 1000 rupees are added to account B, and after addition of 1000 rupees, whatever balance will be there, we update that amount back to account B. So this is the simple example of transaction for transferring amount from one account to another account, and this transaction consists of 6 instructions. So this set of 6 instructions is called as a transaction. Okay, so this is a simple example of transaction. Now we'll see what are the ACID properties of transaction. ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. For any transaction to become a successful transaction, it needs to satisfy all these 4 properties. Then only we can say that the transaction is successfully executed. Okay, and database is in consistent state. So these ACID properties are used to maintain integrity and consistency of database during transaction processing. See, whenever we execute any transaction on database system, we want the correctness of data and the consistency of database. So to ensure these two properties, ACID properties are used to ensure these two conditions. Okay, that database consists of correct data and database is in consistent state. For these two conditions to meet, we need to ensure that transaction is satisfying ACID properties. So in this ACID property, first property is atomicity. Atomicity property states that either all operations in a single transaction are executed or none of them. See, our previous example consists of 6 instructions. So atomicity property ensures that all 6 instructions, all 6 transactions or all 6 queries are executed on a database system. And if transaction fails, then entire transaction will fail. No single instruction in that transaction is executed in case of failure. Okay, so here in atomicity property, we don't want partial execution of transaction. We want our transaction to executed completely without any failure. Okay, so it is used to ensure complete execution of transaction. Like in previous example, if we are transferring fund from one account to another account, and if amount is deducted from one account, then it must be credited to another account without any failure. Okay, see that transaction consists of two parts: deduction of amount from one account and credit amount to another account. So two parts are there for that transaction. So if amount is deducted from account A, so one part is completed, then it must be credited to account B, okay, which is in second part, without any failure. Then only we can say that there is a complete execution of transaction. Okay, and that transaction is satisfying atomicity property. Okay, so this is atomicity property of transaction, which ensure complete execution of transaction without any failure. And if a transaction fails in between, then we need to abort that transaction. We need to cancel that entire transaction in atomicity property. Okay, then next property is consistency. Consistency property ensures that before and after execution of entire transaction, database must be in a consistent state. That is, if before execution of transaction, before starting of transaction, database is in consistent state, then after execution of transaction, database will be in a consistent state only. Okay, there will be no inconsistency. Okay, this is the property of consistency. So if we consider the same example, now here we are having balance also. So initial balance of account A is 5,000 and initial balance of account B is 2,000. If we take a addition of these two these two initial balances, then summation is 7,000. Okay. Now in consistency property, we want that if the initial balance addition of both the account is 7,000, then after transaction, after execution of this transaction, the addition of both balances will be 7,000 only. Okay, see here the initial balance of both account, the addition is 7,000. Then after execution of transaction, the addition must be same, that is 7,000. Then only we can say that database is in consistent state. And here after, if this transaction is executed completely without any failure, then we can say that database will be in a consistent state. Okay, so this is consistency property. We want consistency in a database both before and after execution of entire transaction. Okay, then we have isolation property. If two transactions are running concurrently, that is at the same time in a system, then their intermediate result should not made available to each other. That is, if two transactions are running concurrently in a system, then they should not interfere with each other. Okay, then only we can say that there is a isolation property. Okay, see here we have two transactions. Transaction T1, which is our previous example, that is transferring amount from account A to account B. This is our T1 transaction. And second transaction, now this is a new transaction T2. Here in T2 transaction, we are crediting 10% of balance to the account B. We are crediting 10% amount of balance to account B. Okay, now here both these two transactions are working with account B. T1 transaction is crediting some amount from account A to account B, and T2 transaction is crediting 10% amount of original balance to account B. Okay, both are working with same account. So here, if this T2 transaction read the balance of account B before execution of instruction 5 in transaction T1. Here in instruction 5 in transaction T1, we are crediting 1000 rupees to account B. So after this credit, the amount of account B will be 3000. The balance of account B will be 3000. But if this T2 transaction read the initial balance of account B, that is 2000, and if it calculate 10% of 2000, then it will credit some different amount. Okay, and after 1000 is credited to B, will have some different amount. Okay, so here we want that if two transactions are running concurrently at the same time in a system, then they should not read the intermediate balance. They should not read the intermediate result. That is, in this case, if T1 and T2 both are reading the balance of account B, then here first we want one transaction to complete successfully, then only another transaction can access the balance of B. So here first we need to execute T1 successfully, and then T2 can access B, or else T2 is executed first successfully completely, and then T1 can access B. This is isolation property, since both transactions are working on same account. Okay, because we don't want different balance, we don't want different result for the same account. Okay, that's why isolation property is maintained in a database system. Then last property is durability. Durability states that after successful execution of transaction, changes made by those transactions persist even after system failure and cannot be undone. Whatever changes made by a successful transaction, those changes must be stored permanently in a memory, and if system failure is there, still we will be able to see those changes. Even after system failure, those changes will be visible to user, and these changes cannot be undone. Okay, so this is durability property. The effect of transaction will be permanently written in a memory. Like in our previous example, if fund is transferred from account A to account B, then that process will not be reversed, or that process will not be undone. So that is durability. Okay. In database management system, we have two transaction control language command, which is used to ensure all these properties, which is used to manage transaction. First is commit command and second is rollback command. So these two commands are used to manage transactions in database management system. So first we'll see commit command. So commit command is used to save all changes permanently in a memory. That is, after committing transaction, changes are permanently written on a disk and they become visible to the other transaction after commit. Okay, so to make all changes permanent, commit command is written at the end of transaction. So when we write any transaction, if our transaction consists of series of instruction, then it starts with either begin keyword or start transaction keyword, and it ends with commit statement. Okay, so within start transaction and commit statement, we write all our instructions. So this is commit command. But in MySQL, it execute all commands in auto commit mode. That is, in MySQL, we don't need to write commit command. Okay, if we write any query in MySQL, and when we execute that query, all those changes which are done by that query get stored successfully and permanently in a memory. Because in MySQL, auto commit mode is always on. Okay, we don't need to write commit command to save changes in MySQL. Okay, so by setting auto commit equals to 0, we can disable this automatic commit mode. Okay, by default it is 1, by default it is on. If we want to disable auto commit mode in MySQL, then we set auto commit equals to 0. When start transaction command is used at the starting of transaction, then also this auto commit mode gets disabled automatically. Okay, see, there are two ways to disable this auto commit mode. If we are executing single instruction, then we can use auto commit equals to 0 to disable the auto commit mode. Or if we are using transaction, if we are writing start transaction command, then after writing this start transaction command, auto commit mode will gets disabled automatically. Okay, then with start transaction command, we need to write commit keyword. Okay, but here data definition language command like create, alter, drop, these commands always runs in auto commit mode. Okay, that is, the changes done by all these commands are written permanently in a memory without specifying commit command. That is, whenever you execute create table, create view, or alter table command or drop table command, changes done by these transactions cannot be undone. Okay, these commands always run in auto commit mode. Even if we disable auto commit mode, but all changes done by these three commands will be permanent in a memory. This is commit command, which is used to save changes permanently. Then we have rollback command. It is used to undo all changes done by any transaction if it is not committed. See, commit command is used to save all changes permanently. But if we have not committed any transaction by using commit command, then we can undo the changes. That is, we can roll back the transaction. Changes made by committed transaction cannot be undone. Okay, so whatever changes you have done, if you want to remove those changes, if you want to undo those changes, then rollback command can be used. Okay, if auto commit mode of MySQL is enabled, then rollback command will not have any effect on a database. See, auto commit mode means whenever you execute any command, it will be stored automatically. All the changes will be done permanently. Okay, so if auto commit mode of MySQL is enabled, then there will be no effect of rollback. So to use rollback command, first we need to disable auto commit mode. Okay, and DDL commands like create, alter, and drop, we have already seen this. That is, these three commands runs in auto commit mode. So these three commands cannot be rollbacked. Okay, the changes done by these three commands cannot be rollbacked. Then we have save point command. Rollback command is mainly or mostly used with save point. So save point command is used to save transaction temporarily, which can be rolled back. See, commit command is used to save transaction permanently, whereas save point command is used to save transaction temporarily. Okay, many save points can be inserted in a single larger transaction, and transaction can be rolled back up to desired save point. Okay, so here this rollback and save point command most often used in conjunction with each other. Okay, so we can either roll back all transaction, entire transaction, or we can roll back transaction up to desired point, up to desired query, up to desired command. So so for that we require save point. and we can create number of save point in a single larger transaction. So we will see these three command, that is commit, rollback and save point command, in a practical session along with this video. Okay, so in this video we have studied what is transaction in database management system, then ACID properties, that is atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability, and the transaction language control command, that is commit, rollback and save point. Okay, so this is the theory part of transaction. Now we are going to see how to execute transaction with commit, rollback and save point commands. Now we'll see how to execute transaction and how to execute commit, rollback and save point command. See, transaction in database is nothing but a single command or single query, or it can be a set of commands or set of queries that we execute on a database system. Okay, so here first we'll open one database to use. So here I have one company database. Okay, and in that company database I have one customer table. So first I am displaying that table. At the output you can see all the data from customer table, which consists of customer ID, name, product ID and order date. These are the attributes. Okay, now we'll see how to execute these different types of command. In MySQL, it always runs in a auto commit mode. Okay, that is, whatever query you execute, the changes done by that query will be saved permanently in a memory, and we cannot undo, we cannot roll back those changes. Okay, so first we'll see that. Now here I am inserting data into the table. Okay, see, I am inserting one new row into the table. So my query is insert into cost, that is table name, then values keyword. Okay, and first I am inserting customer ID, then name of customer, then product ID and any date. Okay, so here values are inserted. Okay, see, value is successfully inserted. At the output you can see customer ID 8 is added. Okay, so here now if you roll back this command, okay, what rollback is used to undo all the changes. Undo means, see, here I have inserted one row by using insert command. Now undo means to undo the changes done by this insert command. Means if I execute this rollback command, then this 8 customer ID 8, this new row will be deleted. Okay, now let's verify this. If I execute rollback, see, rollback is successfully executing. Now select again table. But here at the output you can see that customer ID 8, the newly added row, is not deleted, because we already know MySQL execute query in a auto commit mode. That is, after execution of this insert query, whatever changes are done, that is the insertion of new row, that change is permanently stored in a memory. Okay, so here first we need to set auto commit mode to 0 by using command set auto commit equals to 0. Okay, now your auto commit mode is disabled. Now try this again. Now here I am inserting new row. Value is suppose 10, customer ID is 10. Okay, and name is TTT, for example 5. So new row is added here. Okay, see, at the output you can verify your result. See, 10, new row is added, 10 with name TTT and some values for product ID and order date. Now try to roll back this. Roll back. See, your auto commit mode is disabled. So rollback is executed. Now display data. See, newly added row, that is 10. At the output you can verify. Newly added row 10, customer ID 10 is deleted. Here what we have done, first we have inserted one new row with customer ID 8. New row is inserted. Okay, since your MySQL is running in auto commit mode, whatever row inserted by this insert query, that change is stored permanently in a memory. Then you roll back that change by using rollback command, but it is not possible to undo those changes. It is not possible to undo that row. It is not possible to delete that row because your MySQL was running in a auto commit mode. Then we have set auto commit equals to 0. That is, your auto commit mode is now disabled. Then we executed again insert query. We inserted new row, that is customer ID 10, and then we roll back that row. So here your customer ID 10 gets deleted. Okay, now your MySQL is not in a auto commit mode. Now execute another command, update cust set suppose customer name. Now I am changing the value of customer name. Set customer name equals to suppose QQQ, for example, where customer ID equals to 8. Okay, see, now your customer ID 8 is having name FFF. Now I am changing that name to Q. Successfully executed. Okay, now see the result. Okay, now 8 number is having name QQQ. Previous it was having name FFF. Now roll back this. Okay, successfully executed. See, your changes are rolled back. At the output you can see now 8 is having FFF, that is the previous name. So this is rollback command. Now again execute this command. Now we are updating customer ID and set. Now I am changing product ID of any customer. Set product ID equals to suppose 2, where customer ID is equals to 8. Okay, see here in table customer ID 8 is having product ID 5. Now I am changing that product ID to 2. Execute this command. Successfully executing. You can verify the result by displaying data. See, now 8 customer is having ID 2. Okay, now here write down commit command. Okay, after execution of this statement, this update command, write down commit. By using commit command, you are storing changes permanently. You are storing this update changes permanently. These changes cannot be rolled back. Now try to roll back this. Roll back. Try to roll back this. Command is executed successfully. Now verify the result. See, here the product ID is 2 only. Okay, your product ID is not changed because this update query, whatever update query you have executed, this update customer set product ID equals to 2, where customer ID equals to 8. Now this changes done by this query is stored permanently by using commit command. So that changes cannot be rolled back by using rollback command. Okay, so here we have verified how to commit changes by using commit command and how to roll back changes by using rollback command, and we have verified that once we commit changes we cannot roll back all those changes. Now we'll see how to roll back by using save point. Okay, so here I am using two insert queries to verify this result. Okay, see. So insert into cust values. Then here I am inserting value for customer ID 8 with some name, some product ID. Okay, and then order date for this customer. Okay, so this is my first query. After this first query I have created one save point s1. Then again I am inserting another row, that is insert into cust, then values. Okay, so here I am inserting customer ID 11 with some name, some product and order date. Okay, so two insert queries are returned, and after this insert query I have created another save point, that is save point S2. Okay, see here I have written one insert query. After that insert query I have created one save point, then again I have written another insert query, and after that insert query another save point is created. Okay, now see, when your transaction consists of many instructions, or when you want to execute number of instructions in a series, then it is better to create save point, because in case if you want to roll back the transaction, if you want to undo some changes, then you can undo those changes up to some point. Okay, that's why this save point is used. Now let's execute all these queries. See, 4 queries are successfully executed. We can verify result by displaying data. Select star from cost. See, at the output you can verify customer ID 10 and customer ID 11. Both are inserted. Okay. Now see, I don't want this customer ID 11 now. I want to delete this customer ID 11, or I want to undo these changes done by that insert query. So I can simply write rollback to S1. Okay, because after S1, after save point S1, this insert query is written, for which I want to undo the changes. So I can simply write rollback to S1. So it will roll back all those queries. It will roll back the changes done by all those queries which are written after save point S1. So we are undoing changes up to save point S1. So query is successfully executed. Now verify the result. See, result of the row of customer ID 10 is customer ID 11 is rollback. Okay, that row, the changes done by that query which is written after save point S1 is undone. Okay, so this is how save point can be used. Now let's see how to write transaction. So here we begin our transaction by using start transaction command. Okay, so I have written start transaction command. Then here I am updating some value. For example, suppose I am inserting some value. Okay, insert into cost. Then we'll have some values here. Insert into cost values. Suppose I am inserting value for 10. Okay, customer 10 with some name. Suppose name is ABC, for example. Then product ID 3 and some date. Okay, so here, and again I am deleting some value. Delete from cost where customer ID equals to 8. See, I am inserted new row for customer 10 and I am deleting row for customer 8. Okay, so this is my transaction, and after my transaction consists of two queries, insert and delete, and here I am committing my transaction by using commit command. Okay, now select this and execute. See, 4 queries are executed successfully. Now verify the result of these queries. See, here transaction has inserted one new row, that is customer ID 10. So customer ID 10 is here, and transaction has deleted row for customer 8. So here from table customer ID 8 is deleted. Okay, and commit command is used, that's why changes are permanently saved. Now let's verify this by using rollback command. Okay, rollback. So rollback is executed successfully. Now we'll see whether it is having some effect or not. So select. Now even after executing rollback command, the changes done by above transaction have not deleted or have not undone. Okay, see here 10 customer ID 10 is as it is in a table, and here row for customer ID is deleted, customer ID 8 is deleted. So rollback is not having any effect on committed transaction. Okay, now let's see same set, let's execute let's execute another transaction with same command. Okay, suppose I am inserting value for customer ID 11, okay, with some name, and here I am deleting data for customer 2, for example. Okay, so this is my transaction. Now I am not committing this transaction by using commit command. Okay, so 3 queries are executed. Now let's verify the result here. See, here in second transaction I have inserted value for customer ID 11, so row is inserted, and I have deleted data for customer ID 2, so customer ID 2 is deleted from the table. Okay, now this transaction is not committed. Try to roll back this. Try to roll back this by using just rollback command. Okay, and now display data, verify the result whether transaction is rollbacked or not. Select star from first. See, the transaction is rollbacked. Here in that second transaction I have inserted new data for roll number for customer ID 11, so that row is deleted, that change is undone. Then I have deleted data for customer ID 2, but here after rollback of this transaction customer ID 2 is here. Means when you commit transaction by using commit command, you cannot roll back that transaction. Okay, but when you don't commit transaction by using commit command, you can roll back that transaction easily. Okay, so in today's session we have studied how to execute commit and rollback command, and how to disable auto commit mode by using set auto commit equals to 0, how to give save point in a MySQL, and how to roll back transaction up to any save point. Okay, so this is all about today's session. Thank you.